Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and I hope you're seated comfortably because this is gonna be a long one. You know what, I better sit down a little more comfortably myself. So how are you all doing today? I just played a few matches with, well, a friend that means a lot to me, and his name is Jared, and he's one of the main reasons that I make YouTube videos today. And I can't tell you what a blessing that's been to me. So, let's get into this one. We got a capture point really quickly in the match, and then we got taken down in our Sonderkraftfahrzeug. So, we take out the Xeno JU-288C. You can see that I've made this custom camo for it, and this is one of the most powerful bombers in the game. Especially in Tank RB, this aircraft shines with its incredible speed, decent handling for a medium-sized bomber, even a 4-engine bomber, as you see, and you do have to get a feel for how this flies, but with your incredible speed and two very, very heavy bombs, you are able to do some serious damage if you play wisely. And one of the things that I actually really enjoy about the Alaska map is flying aircraft, dealing with the buildings in the center, the underpass at the sea point, and I'm thinking of the wrong thing right now. Anyway, it's a very exciting map to play in aircraft. The one downside is the airfields are a bit too close to the action. It makes it difficult in higher tier battles to chase down enemy aircraft before they get cover from their airfield AA, but I digress. Anyway, we picked up a kill which is helpful to us. That was a Sherman Jumbo 76, I think, M4A3E2 76W, and a triple kill! Which is just peachy in my book. If I sound a little bit excited and happy, let me remind you, I just played a few matches with one of my best friends in the whole world, so I'm a happy guy. Anyway, I had a great time in this match. I had a daily task to destroy enemy heavy tanks, and I picked up a few heavy tank frags there, so that's actually going to do it for my daily task. Always nice to be able to scratch one off and go back to living my life. Of course, it's exciting to grind for vehicles right now in the Warbond shop because not only do you have access to free premium vehicles, the caveat being you need to spend a significant amount of time in the game grinding out accomplishments to get that done. And if you're not familiar with the Warbond shop, by all means, please watch a video on that. Do yourself a favor and get involved in unlocking those free premium vehicles early. A lot of those are event vehicles that you might not have another chance to unlock them for a while. And speaking of, there's a few exciting vehicles in the shop right now, and that's the reason why I'm doing daily tasks. So you've seen me do the old rinse repeat with the JU-288C. We got in, we found our targets, we dropped our bombs, and the main advice, if I could give you anything, when it comes to ground striking with bombers or attackers, is number one, do not crash into the ground. And number two, always be ready to make another attack run. Don't get too happy with that ordnance because it's spent fast and it can be a long trip back to the runway. But again, on the Alaska map, it's fairly close to the action, so we're going to have plenty of time to make a second run here. And I had no idea how much of a marathon match this was going to be. I did mention you're going to be spending some time here, didn't I? So with 4 tank kills already in our JU-288C, we do not need to worry about respawn points, and this could seem like an overpowered bomber, and in many ways it very much is. It's very powerful in its defensive armament. Spoiler warning, you'll see some of that in this match, and it has some very good bombs. But there are some other Schnellbombers around this battle rating that can perform in similar ways to the Ju-288C, with the exception that nothing has the defensive armament that this one has. So another pass here, a couple of enemy tanks, and we take them down in the park. We hear what turns out to be a P-47. You can hear the deep thrumming of its radial engine. Yes, that's what it is. We blow off half of his wing. We are set afire. But one of the things about this Xeno is that if you shut off the engines and turn the throttle down to 0, you actually stand a fairly good chance of putting out an engine fire. Also, the self-sealing tanks on the 288C are rather effective, to the extent that you can also sometimes survive a fuel tank fire. So we've accomplished just that by shutting off the engines. I'd really like to see more of that in other aircraft in the game. It seems a bit hit or miss. Guess I never miss, though. You're like, what's the deal, man? You didn't do the meme right. And that's the whole point of it, because I'm a dad and I get to do everything wrong. But when it comes to taking down P-47s, I guess I did okay enough. That one's gonna go down that we crippled, and yet another on our tail as he pursues us toward the landing strip. I did mention this will be something of a longer match, so we open up with everything we have. He has definitely got us here, and we could have done a little bit of defensive flying, but that doesn't really work against a P-47 anyway. With their 850 cals, they're going to spray and pray you to death. So 6 ground kills and 2 aircraft after some sustained fire there, and I feel like that's just about enough of a contribution to the match. Some odd sounds here, which is probably the Squirrel King harvesting the brains from our downed crew members, but let's not focus on that too much, as we have a sky full of Tracer to be aware of. And it's gonna turn out, by the way, the video is gonna get a bit choppy here, and I apologize for that. That's a mix of shadow play and my PC that is just straining at the bit here to try and chug out the frame rate that I ask out of it. And it's gonna drop regularly down to 50 or so. So your pain and my pain, they coalesce in this moment, my friend. So an enemy M19. We got some decent hits on him, and he hits us in the wing root. The Dornier 335 actually has decent durability these days, to the extent that you can often survive a hit from a 40 mil, even the high explosive if you're lucky. But it does seriously wonkify your flight model, as you can see. Ordinarily these days, the Dornier 335 is actually a fairly stable flight platform, and I've really enjoyed learning to fly this one. If you've taken a look at my lineup, yes, they are all golden premium vehicles, and no, I feel no remorse whatsoever. Excuse me, mid to low tier premiums are by far the most fun, and filling out and collecting lineups of vehicles is one of my favorite things to do in War Thunder. So I apologize for nothing. You're welcome. This month of Gaijin service is brought to you by Toshio Thunder. And now that I've talked about sponsorship, I monetize absolutely nothing on the channel, but a recent donation of a free Abrams pack by me mowing a lawn to pay for it has enabled me to start a squadron. So as you watch us burn in flames here, as we give some kudos to the M19 who shot us down, I've started a squadron. So if you're looking to join AmFam, which is amazing friends and mentors, yes, I know, such a sappy title, but you know what, I'm kind of a sappy guy. As we spawn in the AirSats M10, you're not going to see a whole lot of elite gameplay anymore out of us, but I figured I would include the following because it did end up being one of those matches that just Well, it was quite the marathon. So let's talk about the squadron. AmFam is recruiting at this time, and I suspect that we'll have spots available for a while. I doubt that we'll be the most competitive when it comes to squadron battles, but we do have some experienced players in the lineup, and if you would like to apply, all you need to do is play 50 arcade battles or 50 realistic battles, and that should be fairly doable, and then go ahead and apply. And if you haven't completed those battles, message me. I might change that policy, but you do not need to have a mic. You don't need to be good at the game. The one thing that I will require of AmFam members is to be kind. So that is our goal, to be the nicest squad or the nicest squadron in War Thunder. And if you don't feel like being a bubbly socialite like I am, then you don't have to love people. Just be kind. And if you can't think of something kind to say, well, then just don't say anything at all. But I'm hoping to make AmFam a place where people can always feel welcomed, and a place where the negative aspects of War Thunder can be a little bit less prevalent. Just a nice, comfortable place to hang out with friends. And if we end up being a small squad, which I think will be the case, as you see us get taken down there, we did get a base cap, so we weren't totally useless. Just go ahead and join AmFam if you feel like it. So I guess that's all I have to say about that. Thanks for listening to that spiel, as uncoordinated as it was. And finally, we decide that it's time to take the Arrow for a spin. Again, I very rarely use backup vehicles, but I just saw how hard my team was fighting, and I thought, you know what? I can't let them give it their all and not give it my all as well. At least that's what I'm thinking in the post-battle results. I'm projecting that onto myself now. I think I was thinking more along the lines of, I should very much like to kill that T-34 at about this time. And I couldn't quite spot him. And one thing with the Arrow is it's very difficult to get the heavy airplane on target without doing big sweeping attack runs. And that is something you're going to have to keep in mind. Its low speed maneuverability is nil, but its roll rate's actually decent. And the M19 again gets a nice shot into our wing route as we continue to get peppered by what is probably 50 cal fire. Once again, we're flying the Donier, or this guy, the Arrow, with a blackened wing route, and it shows. You saw how smoothly we did our first pass there, and now we're wobbling all over the place, as you should with a highly damaged wing model. I feel like every airplane should fly poorly when missing key components of its flight structure. I'm looking at you, Yak 9P. And as we take continued fire from that M19, we tried to drop our bombs and spray that T-34, but tweren't to be. And now I sign off to my teammates. GG all. I'm off to go on to greener pastures, and yet I convinced myself to give it another shot. Spawn in another vehicle. I have plenty of spawn points, and again, these guys have not given up. I might not feel like I can be useful anymore after getting rocked on the ground by these American vehicles in very good defensive positions, but, well, by golly, I've got to do something. So I take out my Focke-Wulf 190C, which is a very cool aircraft. I have one of my favorite custom camouflages for this one, but I don't have it applied right now. It really reminds me of an anime movie called Redline that, apart from some gratuitous anime titties, is one of the best animes I've watched. So it's a pretty good movie. Not for kids, but not entirely disgusting either. I'd say it's in terms of anime, it's about average when it comes to offensive content, and yet also very, very beautifully animated by the people who are working on it. A true masterpiece of art, as I'm sure you'll agree that custom camo is next time you see it. I do have some other videos on the Focke-Wulf 190C where you can see that artwork for yourself. And here, we're just trying to get a look at the battlefield and just look at how beautifully this Focke-Wulf flies through the sky. It is not a turn fighter like the Spitfire, and yet at low speed the aircraft very stable and being able to produce great acceleration and have decent energy retention as we spot an open top vehicle. Could that be our foe, the M19, under that pass? And yet we don't have a good lineup with our guns. Our ally has been spotting the map for a while there. Another M19 opening up on us, and that is actually a M47 Walker Bulldoge, one of the best light tanks in the game. Fight me, it really is a good vehicle once you get a feel for it. It does have something of a high profile, but at 6.0 battle rating with an APDS that doesn't quit, dealing almost no post-pen damage, but is effectively a laser beam that cuts through very thick armor. It has the ability to severely inconvenience enemies, good fire rate, and as far as a light tank goes, just as deadly as you would want a light tank to be. High profile, but that's not such a bother. It also gives you the ability to scout over some obstacles that other light tanks have a hard time peeking over. And why do I talk so much about the Bulldoge? Well, I just like it. Look at the stall characteristics of the Focke-Wulf 190C. This is an aircraft that can stall fight for days. And I hear what sounds like the engine of another aircraft, so I'm a little bit spooked and I'm checking the skies, but I don't see anything other than this beautiful model. Gorgeous aircraft. Focke-Wulf 190C, being an event aircraft, is not available to everyone anymore, but I'm sure it'll be back in some form to be available someday as we get some good hits on the M19, and a quick kill assist means we need not worry about him any longer. And yet, there toward the enemy spawn, what do I see? An M19 and an M16 GMC. You're welcome. So we decide to play the fool here and go ahead and go for a suicide run. You can see that we're swaying a bit left and right, just trying to throw off the enemy's aim, and I'm sure he can't see us very well once our rounds start splattering around him. And yet, you see, that's not going to be enough, and we've been caught! I told Puma earlier, look at this lovely AmFam officer with his dapper decal. What a great name, AmFam. I wanted to call us Fam, but Fam was already taken, so AmFam it is. I guess we just have to be amazing friends and mentors. And speaking of, Puma has been a good friend. I feel like I've been mentoring him over these few weeks that we've known each other, and he has made himself useful on the Discord, and I just love the thought of making connections with people in the game that can improve their quality of life. I can't tell you how important some of my friends have been to me that I made online during some really lonely periods in my life. And now that I've married my dream girl and I'm raising two beautiful little ladies, I'm not a lonely guy anymore. But I remember what it's like to be lonely, to be miserable, even to I never would have thought that it was the answer, but the question of looking for a quick way out of misery has definitely come up in my life in the past. And let me tell you, when you're miserable, it's nice to have friends online where you don't need to worry about about them judging you. You just know that you can share life with them for a while and have some fun. Anyway, guys, I didn't mean to leave that on such a significant note. I'm starting to tear up a little bit here, but have a great day. Hope you enjoyed that one, and back me up here. I told Puma that I wouldn't be able to play tonight, and then I had to make some quick excuses when it turns out that I was playing the game. We did actually end up playing some matches together with Jared, who, well, you'll probably see a video on that at some point if you haven't seen it already. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.